Everyone was at my sister's engagement party, except me. Mom said I wasn't invited because I'd ruined the vibe. She said it like I was some kind of embarrassment. Like I didn't belong to the same family anymore. I sat in my tiny apartment, watching their perfect smiles in the pictures they posted online. Champagne glasses, designer dresses, expensive decorations, and not a single trace of me. Before we continue, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because what happened next, no one in my family saw coming. I wasn't always the unwanted daughter. 2 years ago, I was their pride. The one who dreamed big, the one who worked day and night to support the family after Dad left. But when I lost my job after my boss stole my idea, they turned on me like wolves. Maybe if you were smarter, you wouldn't get fired, my sister laughed. Mom didn't stop her. She just sighed and said, Sarah, not everyone's meant for success. What they didn't know was, while they mocked me, I had been working in silence. Every sleepless night, every tear, every failure. I was building something they couldn't imagine. My laptop became my escape, my battlefield, my revenge. That night, as I scrolled through my sister's engagement livestream, something inside me snapped. My sister, the same one who once borrowed money from me to buy her first dress, was bragging about how I couldn't even afford a decent life. The guests laughed. Even my mom smiled. I stared at the screen until my hands started shaking. They thought they had erased me from the picture. But the truth? The real shock was only a few days away, and when I showed up, no one at that engagement party was ready for who I had become. 2 days later, I got a text from my cousin Jenna. You should see the party tomorrow. Everyone's coming. Even the mayor's son. Too bad you're not invited. I smiled at my phone. For the first time in years, that message didn't sting. Because what no one knew was that the company I'd been quietly building for months had just hit its first $1 million contract. I had gone from sleeping on my couch to signing deals with investors who once rejected me. And tomorrow, the same people who laughed at me would see my name. In a way they'd never forget. I didn't go to the engagement in some designer gown. No. I went in a simple black dress, hair tied back, calm and quiet. The kind of quiet that scares people. When I walked in, every head turned like they'd seen a ghost. My mom's fake smile froze midair. My sister dropped her glass. Sarah? What are you doing here? Mom whispered, clutching her pearls like I'd committed a crime. I came to congratulate my sister, I said, smiling. After all, it's not every day someone marries into debt. The crowd went silent. My sister's fiancé, Jake, looked confused. What is she talking about? He asked, glancing at my sister, whose face turned pale. My sister tried to speak, but her voice cracked. Don't listen to her, she's just bitter, I laughed softly. Bitter? Maybe, but broke? Not anymore. I pulled out my phone and showed Jake something that made his jaw tighten. Screenshots. Messages and numbers that could end everything. He grabbed the phone, scrolling fast, his face draining of color. My sister lunged forward to snatch it back, but it was too late. The secret she'd hidden from everyone was finally out. And right then, I knew this was only the beginning of my revenge. Jake's voice cut through the music like glass shattering. You lied to me, Emily. You told me your family helped you buy the house. Everyone turned toward them. My mother's smile vanished. Guests began whispering. Cameras stopped recording. Emily's face twisted. Sarah's just jealous. She's been trying to ruin my life since high school. I stepped closer, my voice calm but sharp. Really? Then explain why the mortgage papers are under my name. Gasps filled the room. I looked right at Jake. She used my identity to get approved for the down payment. She told the bank I co-owned the property. That's fraud, Jake. My mom finally spoke up, her voice trembling. Sarah, please, not here. People are watching. I turned to her, smiling coldly. Oh, now you care about people watching? Where was that concern when you told everyone I was a failure? For the first time, my mother looked small. Her perfect world, the one built on lies and appearances, and it was cracking open. Guests began filming. Whispers turned into murmurs. The same relatives who once ignored me now stared like I was someone else entirely. "Sarah, please," my sister hissed, her voice shaking. "Let's talk outside." "No need," I said quietly. "You had your party, Emily. Now it's my turn." I opened my phone again and tapped the screen. A large digital billboard right across from the venue lit up. "Congratulations, Emily, from your business partner, Sarah Miller, founder and CEO of Brightverse Tech." The name glowed across the street, bold and bright. People gasped, turning to me like I'd just stepped out of another world. My mother's hand covered her mouth. "Jake couldn't look at my sister," I whispered, leaning close enough for Emily to hear. "You told everyone I was nothing. Now they all know who you really are." Tears filled her eyes, but I didn't flinch. For the first time in years, I wasn't the quiet one anymore. I was the storm they never saw coming. The crowd had turned restless now, whispers blending into chaos. Emily stood frozen, mascara streaking down her face while Jake slowly stepped back from her. He looked at me, then at her, and said in a voice cold enough to cut glass, "You used her money to impress me?" She tried to grab his arm, but he pulled away. "Jake, I can explain." "Explain what?" I interrupted softly. "How you forged my signature. Or how you transferred funds from my old savings account. The one I used to help you start your boutique." Every head turned toward her. My mother's face went pale. She looked like she couldn't breathe. The band had stopped playing. The engagement that was supposed to be the family's grandest night was turning into their biggest humiliation. If you're still watching, don't blink. This is where karma hits hardest. My phone buzzed. A notification popped up. "Transaction complete." I smiled faintly. "Oh, one more thing," I said, lifting my phone for everyone to see. "That house you bought, the one you love showing off on social media? It's legally mine now. I just transferred it under my company's name." The silence that followed was heavier than thunder. My sister broke down screaming, "You can't do this." I stepped closer, my voice calm. "You did it to yourself. I begged you to stand with me when I lost everything. You mocked me instead. You told everyone I'd never be more than a failure. So tell me, Emily, who's laughing now?" Jake dropped the engagement ring onto the floor. It rolled, hitting her shoe before stopping, a small sound that felt like justice. My mom whispered, "Sarah, please stop. We can fix this." I looked at her, really looked at her, and said quietly, "You only call it fixing when it's your reputation on the line. Mine was never worth saving to you." And then for the first time in my life, I turned my back on them, as everyone else turned their cameras toward me. As I walked out of that hall, every camera flash followed me like a trail of lightning. People were whispering, recording, posting, my name spreading across every screen in that room. The same family who once laughed at me now watched in silence, their perfect image collapsing in front of hundreds of witnesses. But as I stepped into the cold night air, my chest felt heavy, not with pride, but with something deeper. Revenge had tasted sweet, yes, but beneath it was years of pain, years of being unseen. I looked up at the billboard across the street, my company's logo shining against the dark sky. And for the first time, I didn't see victory. I saw survival. A few hours later, I sat in my car, engine off, just thinking. Every insult, every laugh, every door slammed in my face. It had built this moment. But now, the noise had faded, and all that was left was silence. I had won. But I had also lost something along the way, a version of me that used to love without proving anything. My phone rang. It was Jenna, my cousin. "Sarah," she whispered, "everyone's talking about you. The news is calling you the sister who turned humiliation into empire." She paused. "You did it. You really did it." I smiled faintly. "Yeah," I said. "But it wasn't about the money. It was about reminding them who I am." The next morning, my story was everywhere. News outlets ran headlines like, "Disowned daughter becomes millionaire CEO, confronts family at engagement party." Strangers were sending messages, calling me an inspiration. But the one message that hit me hardest came from an unknown number. It read, Sarah. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you that way. Mom. For a long time, I just stared at it. My mother, the same woman who once said I'd ruin the vibe, was finally realizing I was never the problem. I typed back, but then deleted the words. Some apologies don't need replies. They need time. A week later, I visited my old neighborhood, the same street where people used to whisper about the girl who failed. This time, they smiled. Some even waved. My journey had come full circle. I wasn't the same Sarah anymore, not the broken daughter, not the forgotten sister. I was the woman who rebuilt her life from the ashes they left behind. As I walked past a little coffee shop, I saw a young girl sitting by the window, crying over a rejection letter. I paused, went inside, and said gently, Hey, don't give up. Sometimes rejection is just life's way of saying you're meant for something bigger. She looked up and smiled through her tears, not realizing who I was. And that's when it hit me. Revenge had started my story, but redemption would finish it. I walked out into the sunlight, whispering to myself, They tried to bury me, but they forgot I was a seed. And somewhere in the distance, the world finally knew. Sarah Miller wasn't the family's shame anymore. She was their biggest lesson.